Lesson 69 is on proper form of scientific notation. When we write a number in scientific notation, we usually put the decimal point to the right of the first digit that's not 0. For example, you've probably seen before this type of scientific notation. 1.86 times 10 to the 5th power. So therefore, you can see here our decimal points right after the first non-zero digit. 1 is our digit, we put our decimal point right after it. Another example of scientific notation would be maybe 9.46 times 10 to the 12th power. Our decimal point again is right after the first non-zero digit, and this tells me I'm going to move my decimal place 12 places to the right if I were to put it in standard form. Now, in this lesson, however, sometimes scientific notation, people don't leave it in the right form. So, for example, you might get this. 4,600 times 10 to the 5th power. Is that in scientific notation? No. I don't have a decimal point right after my first non-zero digit like I did up here. So therefore, I want to put my decimal point right here. But when I do that, I'm actually taking where my decimal point was, which was right here, and I moved it 1, 2, 3 more places to the left. So now what I have is I have 4,600 times 10 to the 5th power, and then I moved my decimal 3 more places, so I have 10 times 10 to the 3rd power. To simplify this, what I do is I now just have 4.6. I can drop my zeros now that I'm in scientific notation. And then when we multiply exponents, the 5 and the 3 here are exponents. When you multiply them, really you're just adding them. So therefore, 5 plus 3 is 8. So this is now incorrect scientific notation. Example 1 is asking us to write 25 times 10 to the negative 5th in scientific notation. Now, the first thing I need to do is I need to write 25 in correct scientific notation. Remember, the decimal point is going to go right after the first non-zero digit. So therefore, our decimal point is going to go right after the 2 and before the 5. I moved the decimal point 1 place to the left. However, if I were to write this problem right here in standard form, I would technically move the decimal 5 places to the left. So when I do that, I actually get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I add my zeros for my extra spaces, but I moved my decimal to here, as you can see. I moved it here, so really how many places do I move? 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it's just to the negative 4th power. So I can write that 2.5 times 10 to the negative 4th power. There is also some work you can show for this. You moved your decimal 1 place back to the left, which is actually a positive movement. So you did 2.5 times 10 to the 1st power, but our original problem said 10 to the 5th power, negative 5th power. Now, when we multiply exponents from review, you can just add exponents when you're multiplying their bases. So therefore, when you do that, you have 10 to the 1st power plus a negative 5. Well, 1 plus a negative 5 is 4, so therefore that's how I get my power of negative 4. And now this is written in correct scientific notation. Let's take a look at example 2. Example 2, we're asked to write 0.25 times 10 to the 4th in scientific notation. Once again, we start with 0.25. We want to write that in correct scientific notation. So that's going to be 2.5, just like example 1. But now we actually subtracted 1. We moved our decimal to the right, so therefore it's a negative movement. So we have 10 to the negative 1 power. Then it's also times 10 to the 4th power. So to finish this, it's still going to be 2.5. Add our exponents. 10 to the negative 1 plus of 4. So our answer is 2.5 times 10 to the third power. The more that you work with these, the easier that they will become for you. The more you practice, you'll be able to do them mentally in your head. The easiest way for me is when you are computing, just think of, well, this is where it was. If I were to write this number in scientific notation, I would move my decimal 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. So therefore, if I move my decimal back 1 like I did right here, then I have to take 1 away because now I only need to move it 3 places to the right. So that's how you're going to get better with working with these exponents on the 10. For your practice, I would like for you to do A, B, and C, and this can be found on page 486.